Benny, grand final this weekend. When you first arrived back at the club a few weeks ago, I suppose you could have only dreamt of finishing the season like this at the weekend.
Yeah, I know it within the club's reach, but I didn't. I won't say I didn't expect to get it, but it's quite a nice feeling to be in this position.
You've got some records since coming in. I think obviously the defeat on your first game at Rochdale, and then the only game the club have lost since then is when you were off the field for 70 minutes against Keighley. So you're clearly doing something right.
Oh, I don't necessarily think it's that. I think the team's just been playing really well, and the spirit in the team's really good. Everybody's kind of contributing, doing the right things for the team, which is really important. Particularly this time of the season, it's important the workload's shared out and everybody's mucking in, and I think that's what we're doing, and I think it's been great, and to see the boys playing with confidence like they are as well is really good to see.
The team's stayed fairly similar as well, hasn't it, over the past few weeks or so? How much has that helped, especially for you as a new player in the group as well, getting to know what each player around you wants and needs during a game?
It's important to get some consistency with your team. I think most coaches like to try and have some continuity with the team. Obviously injuries depending and maybe a bit of form here and there, but I think, like you said, we've kept a balanced team throughout and been pretty consistent with the players that have been playing every week. So that helps, but then the guys that have come in when they've needed to be called upon have done a really good job as well, so it's been good.
I spoke to Biehl last weekend, who said you coming in has taken the pressure off him a little bit, because a lot of the weight was on his shoulders to make something happen, but having your experience in there from the 9 position has taken that off him a little bit. Would you agree with that he can go and play his own game if you've got your experience down the middle?
Well, I think it probably helps having somebody a bit of a calming influence. Saying that for somebody like myself, when I started playing the game at Donny in 2005, there was nothing calm about me. So to come back now and be in a position where I can be a bit of a calming influence for the boys and maybe take a bit of pressure off the halfbacks as well, if that's helping out, then great. But just try and stay positive throughout the game is really key. I was saying to the boys in the last 2 or 3 minutes of that game at Keighley at the weekend that we're still in it. We've got a great chance of still doing it. Stay calm, stay composed, and I think just having that experience to pass on and guide people, I think it's probably helped out a little bit, mate. Yeah.
As someone who's probably seen everything there is to see in rugby league at Keighley, did you always feel that something might happen, or is there a time when you feel the momentum start to swing?
I always thought we were in the game, and even when they went out, I think they went 2 scores in front. I think it was 26-18 maybe at one point, and I always felt that we had it in us to score, because I knew that if we got down there we could post some points if we stayed composed. But being in that position, it's not a position you want to be in, but obviously we dealt with it really well, and we came out with a big play at the end of the game. And the only time I can think I've been in a game like that before is on the wrong end, when I was at Hull KR and we got relegated against Salford in the Golden Point. So to be on the right side of one of them is pretty pleasing, but hopefully we don't have to experience that again.
Going to Workington this weekend, then they've obviously had a week off, then played, then had another week off, and going to this one, whereas we've had that momentum of 3 wins on the bounce now in the playoffs. Can it be a positive that we've had that momentum and going into it fresh and ready to go again?
I think for us it's just, like I said before, to have that continuity and be playing every week and have a pretty much a stable squad of players every single week has been beneficial for us. So that'll help us out, and Workington they'll be a little bit fresher maybe. So it'll be an interesting one. It'll be a really good game, and one that I'm excited about. I think the pressure is maybe off us a little bit, being the underdogs coming from 5th and having to travel to Workington. So we'll just go out and enjoy it and play as composed and as calm as we can.
In a grand final as well, obviously you're going to have players who will maybe feel the nerves more than the others. We've mentioned experience over the past few weeks. It's so important, isn't it? In the dressing room before the game, are you, the likes of Sam Smeet and Ben Johnson, players who've been there and seen it and done it, are you sort of getting your arm around the younger lads and just making sure everybody's nice and composed and ready to play the game, but not the occasion?
I've probably got the answer you're not looking for it, mate, because like in the changing rooms, because I'm new to the environment, and even though I've got that experience, I don't feel like I always need to say too much. I'm not a player that feels like I've got to be talking all the time, or I'll have a few words with players here and there who I know I'm going to be interacting with throughout the game most, so the half-backs, maybe the full-back, but I don't get overly vocal. I just try and stay composed myself, and I think just being calm yourself naturally rubs off onto other people anyway. So that'll be the same this weekend.
And what would it mean to you? You mentioned when you first came in, your career's gone full circle after a couple of years out of the game. You're back at Doncaster where it all began for you. To go on, and if that promotion does come on Sunday, how will you reflect on the past few weeks in particular?
Well, I think it's probably a debt that I never repaid to Doncaster, because when I came to Doncaster in 2005, I was just a young lad, didn't really know where my career was going to go, if it was going to take off. I just didn't have a clue what was going to happen with it. And when I left Doncaster, St John Ellis weren't overly impressed with me at the time, obviously because I'd had a good year and they gave me the chance. But for me, it was an opportunity to go into a full-time environment and just see what could happen. Obviously, St John Ellis passed the New Year's Eve of the pre-season of 2006. 2005 won in 2006, and I never really got a chance to say thank you to him for giving me the chance and the opportunity to get into professional sport. So I think there's a debt that I owe to the club, and if it can be promotion this weekend, that'll be a massive tick in the box.